Hey there, fellow wanderers. You find yourself standing at the edge of Tombstone, Arizona, a town suspended in time, under a velvety night sky sprinkled with stars that flicker like distant lanterns across the vast, dark canopy overhead. The chill of the desert night nips at your skin, and as the dry wind whistles through the abandoned structures, you can almost hear the echoes of boot spurs jangling against wooden floors that now sit silent and forgotten. This is not a fairy tale. It's a place where history looms large, shadowed by tales of infamous gunfights and legends from the rough-and-tumble era of the Wild West. The air here is dry and crisp, carrying with it the scent of dust and aged wood mingling into a perfume only history can brew. You take a deep breath, allowing the night's coolness to nestle around your senses, and you're grounded in the knowledge that this experience isn't conjured from imagination. It's as real as the dry earth beneath your feet. So before we dive deeper, I ask only this. If this kind of raw, unvarnished truth speaks to you, click like, hit subscribe, and leave a trace of yourself in the comments. Tell me your city, your time, your state of mind. Now, dim the lights. Let the hum of your fan blend with the wind of centuries past. Let's begin. And remember, in medieval times, even survival was a luxury. And so, you step into the storied streets of Tombstone, the notorious town too tough to die. The worn facades lean into the present like aging storytellers eager to share their chronicle. It's not long before you're drawn to the ghostly allure of the Corral, a place engraved into the annals of Western folklore. Here, you can almost feel the tremors of history's most infamous showdown, a gunfight that didn't last 30 seconds, but carved an eternal niche in the legend of the Wild West. The legend tells of lawmen and outlaws. Names like Wyatt Earp, Doc Holliday, and the Clanton brothers ring out, intermingling with the howls of the chilly wind. Listen closely, and you may pick up the echoes of a time when the air would crackle with bullets, and the dust would rise from the street, as if startled by the drama unfolding above. Yet the reality is forever tangled with fiction, a cloak that history wears well. Did Wyatt Earp exchange a sly wink with Doc before the shooting began? Historians still argue whether the conflict was a lawful act of defense or a power play disguised as justice. The earth beneath Tombstone conceals treasures and tales, not the kind men might die for, but certainly those worth unearthing today. It's said that miners once flocked to the area with visions of silver glinting as brightly as the stars overhead. With its gleaming promise, the town sprung from the barren desert, quickly earning its place on the map not only for riches, but for its renegade spirit and independence. Ironically, it wasn't long after the likes of the Earps and Holidays rode into town that it started to sag under the weight of its own reputation. The ground was mined until it faltered. The treasure was fleeting, but the stories left behind remain. As you wander through these deserted lanes, imagine the hustle and bustle, the clamor of voices mingling in the saloons, a sharp contrast to the quiet that blankets Tombstone today. It's fascinating how time has granted these stories immortality while simultaneously shrouding them in mystery, leaving you to wonder what's true and what fabrication. Let's face it, pondering whether the myths outweigh the facts is all part of Tombstone's charm. Maybe that's why Tombstone's draw is so magnetic, with its ability to make people feel part of something grand and mysterious. The uneven wooden planks creak beneath your feet as you stroll past the Birdcage Theater, where refined performances mingled effortlessly with scandalous exploits. Its longevity surpasses most, almost as if daring modern life to try and erase its storied existence. Just beyond the Corral stands Boot Hill Graveyard, a silent testament to the town's past, where tombstones tell tales of lives cut short at the barrel of a gun or by the perils of the desert. Reading the etched names, you're struck by the harsh brevity of life back then, the juxtaposition between the enduring legend and the stark permanence of those buried underscores, an era of both adventure and uncertainty. Even now, as shadows stretch across the town, mingling with your own, you find yourself wrapped in its eerie embrace. There's a hushed reverence here, one, that calls for appreciation and contemplation rather than fear. You might even let out a chuckle as you think of the roughnecks and rogues who would have swaggered these streets, the same men who became part of the very tales now whispered at the twilight of day. It seems appropriate to consider how different your life is, and yet, the pull of a good story never changes. The blend of truth, myth, and mystery captivates the imagination, refuses to let go, leaving you to wander these ghostly grounds long after the light of day has left. And so, as an unusual chill settles over the town, you find that rather than being unnerved, you're enthralled. It's the kind of place that welcomes the dreamers and skeptics alike, those who wish to unravel, explore, and ultimately, embrace the haunting beauty of history standing still. You stand just on the edge of Tombstone, where the renowned Corral holds its solemn vigil, marking a cornerstone of infamous Western legend. It's no grandiose monument, more a modest reminder fashioned from weathered wood and grit, yet it captures the imagination like few other places can. Here, the very essence of the Wild West resonates, painting a backdrop where stories clash with history in a timeless embrace. Before you, it's easy to picture the dusty street, bustling with the kind of nervous energy that accompanies suspenseful anticipation. The clock seems to tick slower as you imagine bystanders tipping their hats or ducking behind barrels and porch posts, poised for the spectacle that would unfold in the blink of an eye. The players arrive. Wyatt Earp, his brothers Virgil and Morgan, and the inimitable Doc Holliday Yeech, a character known as much for charisma as for gunslinging prowess. As you let the scene play out, the tension mounts. But there's a hint of absurdity here, too. You can almost hear Doc Holliday's rumored southern drawl, cutting through the tension with sharp wit. It's these intertwining threads of drama and humor, life and death, that convey how this singular shootout, and others like it, transcended mere survival into the realm of romantic legend. When the first gun cracks like thunder, it breaks the desert's pervasive hush. In those frantic seconds, it said bullets whizzed wildly as figures ducked and pivoted, caught in a ballet of pistols and dust. No more than 30 seconds unraveled, yet it was enough time to pivot destinies and cement reputations, leaving behind tales that billowed out as large as the smoke from the gun barrels. It's fascinating how the Corral, a place of violence and chaos, evolved into a symbol of justice and myth. But despite its place in Western lore, historians still argue whether the so-called lawmen were truly as righteous as they claimed, or if personal vendettas drove their blazing guns. Maybe the truth is somewhere in between, blend of heroics and human flaws, wrapped in a multitude of perspectives and biases, each coloring the tapestry of history. Certainly, such a scene was ripe for the retelling, a chance for the public, then and now, to ruminate over the subtle interplay of fate and intent. It's in these narratives that legends forge their roots, growing like desert plants steadfast against the harshness around them. After all, the appeal of the Corral doesn't lie solely in who fired first or last, but in the mixture of bravery, bravado, and bewildering consequence that marked the day. Beyond the echo of gunfire, the story perpetuated by movies and novels often reshapes itself, mirroring the times. Perhaps therein lies its real magic, the shootout's adaptive power to retain relevance across generations, always inviting new audiences to wonder about the bygone days. It invites you, too, to ponder where the factual lines bend along with the bullet angles. As you meander through the dusty tableau, you chuckle at the notion of what might have happened had cell phones existed, imagining Earp tweeting about another day at the office with a hashtag that screams bravado, or Holiday updating his status mid-duel, still standing you? Humor aside, such technological musings draw a poignant contrast to the tangible unpredictability and raw stakes of their world. Every stone, every scrap of history, whispers stories as murmurs linger about the deeper societal implications of violent justice branding an era. The path from a chaotic skirmish in an unremarkable alley to immortal popular culture mirrors our love-hate relationship with the mythology of the untamed frontier, a place that promises freedom, but demands its pound of flesh. The evening air settles, cold seeping under your collar like the creeping realization that the drawn pistols here echoed far beyond their physical confines. Just outside Tombstone, as the night settles and softens over the town, the silence might feel comforting a cushion against the onslaught of imagination and speculation. Reflecting on the constant clash between cowboys and the cavalry of law, the stories blend historical facts and fantastical elements to engage our curiosity today, as they always have. It's like imagining your own place within this ongoing saga against the sweep of time that remains unfazed by modern complexities. As you savor the heady mix of cool air and dusty nostalgia, you realize the OK Corral isn't just a place. It's a narrative labyrinth, inviting both homage and inquiry. Your appreciation grows not from seeking closure, but from embracing the multifaceted wonder of the incompletely told tale, knowing that even now we fuel the legends just by retelling them once more. Indeed, this corner of the world reaffirms a universal truth. Every legend starts somewhere, grounded in the earthiness of experience and elevated by the heights of imagination. Perhaps, in another time, under another sky, the audible echoes of gunfire may blend seamlessly into the night, a reminder of moments that defined an era. Leaving behind the dust-swept streets of Tombstone, you travel further west to meet Bodie, California ghost town frozen in time, captured in a permanent state of arrested decay. As you approach, the surrounding Sierras stand like sentinels, their weathered peaks sharp against the sky. The air has cooled, crisp with mountain breezes that sing softly through sagebrush, filling your senses with a clean, earthy scent. Bodie feels different from Tombstone. Here, silence truly envelops you, broken occasionally by the call of a distant raven or the creak of aged wood adjusting to the shifts in temperature. You walk past wooden structures that lean into each other for support, weathering together as one, their broken windows making them appear like vacant eyes watching your every step. It's an eerie but oddly comforting feeling, like an embrace from the past. Strolling down Bodie's main street, once bustling with gold-hungry prospectors, it's hard not to imagine the whispers of those who once worked these lands. During its heyday, Bodie was a booming gold-mining metropolis with nearly 10,000 residents. Prospectors flocked here, chasing rumors of riches that glistened tantalizingly beneath the rock-heavy soil. Now, only the shadows of these ambitions remain. Speaking of shadows, there are reports of something peculiar in Bodie Strange, beckoning lights that appear after twilight. Known as the Bodie Lights, these unexplainable illuminations have danced over the hills for decades, seemingly offering companionship to the lone spirits of miners who never left. Is it a trick of the mountain breeze mingling with dusty glass, or perhaps the wandering souls of those who still long for treasure? Historians and ghost hunters alike remain intrigued, with speculative debates on whether natural phenomena or supernatural presences are at play. Wandering deeper into town, you feel the pull of the Bodie Cemetery, where twists of stiff grass hiss softly beneath your feet. The air here feels closer, almost reverential, as if stepping onto consecrated ground. Among the memorial stones, you'll find China Alley, a smaller plot where the graves of Chinese workers rest, largely anonymous, yet poignant testaments to Bodie's diversity and insight, often overshadowed by the boisterous tales of frontiersmen and barroom brawls. As you linger, listen close. You might hear the ghostly murmur of a Californian breeze rustling over the eternally sleeping. A light joke springs to mind: if ever there were spirits to request a tune, Bodie's might have demanded a miner's lullaby, complete with the clanking beat of pickaxes and the soft undertone of wind through pine. As odd as it sounds, the idea is not far-fetched. The silence here carries a symphony of the past, and you fancy Bodie's residents would have appreciated the intricacy. Moving back through town, you come across a lonely, little red schoolhouse, now a makeshift museum, preserving artifacts from a time when children's laughter spilled over these grounds. The desks inside are neatly aligned, thick with the dust of years, Yet it's easy to picture a stern schoolmarm trying to wrangle the energy of young miners' sons and daughters. This simple structure reminds you that Bodie was not just about the clamor for gold. It was a community vibrant with life. Eyes drift to the towering hoist works on the hill, a skeletal reminder of Bodie's industrial might, its winding gear having long since halted. This is where the earth gave up its golden secrets, briefly anyway, before the riches ran out, and the certainty of decline settled. By the early 1900s, Bodie's fortune waned, its status winking out like one of those enigmatic lights. With the onset of Prohibition and a dampening economic tide, Bodie transitioned from boomtown to ghost town nearly overnight. Theories abound as to why Bodie's lights appear, reminiscent of similar ones found in phenomena like the willow, the wisp elsewhere across the globe, often explained as gas emissions spontaneously igniting the air. Yet, standing here, it's equally tempting to surrender to the more magical notion that kin, long departed, still visit their claimed territory, illuminating it with moments of remembered glory. And thus, the Bodie of today stands as a photographic relic, a fascinating enigma, inviting exploration. While structural restoration and protection efforts strive to maintain its state, it's the invisible threads of stories that weave the richest tapestry around its essence. As the sun slips down and the first stars twinkle into view, it's easy to imagine the fading energy of Bodie's story merging with the night, captured poignantly in the spectral glow of its legendary lights. So, as you turn away, leaving Bodie shrouded in its dusky veil, remember this: whether trick of the light or the glow of lingering spirits, the magic in Bodie lies in its ability to ignite not just the sky riddled with quirky mysteries, but also the sparkle of stories both haunting and holy, connecting us to a patchwork past. At its core, Bodie remains as enduring as the mountains that shoulder it, inviting returnees to slyly wonder at what truly glimmers up there among the brush and shadow. Continuing onward from Bodie's mystical allure, you find yourself drawn to the kaleidoscope of stories residing in the Mojave Desert's Calico ghost town. Perched on a sun-bleached hill, Calico harbors the echoes of a bustling silver hub. Once considered one of California's richest deposits, this settlement now serves as a historical snapshot of ambition, boom, and inevitable bust. Calico greets you with open silence, broken only by the soft rustling of the chaparral in the arid breeze. The sun hangs heavily in the sky, casting long, gaunt shadows behind the aged wooden shanties buildings that wear their history like cloaks tattered by time. You're welcomed by the faint yet familiar odor of sun-baked earth, mingling with the occasional waft of desert sage and dust. This ghost town isn't replete with ghostly apparitions per se, but should you wander its polychrome pathways when the winds pick up, some claim that you can hear echoing laughter and faint mining calls, as if the spirits of silver miners are still at work. Calico's history is layered with these murmurings, leaving room for both skepticism and imagination to run wild. Historians still argue whether these sounds are the product of peculiar acoustics, or if they carry the voices of those who once lived on the edge of fortune. The bustling days of the 1880s and 1890s have definitely left their imprint when the town was vibrant, its population climbing to nearly 1,200 people. Silver was a king's ransom, and Calico was its kingdom. Prospectors flocked from far and wide, their lives revolving around the discovery and extraction of veins weaving through the Appalachian limestone. As you stroll further into town, you'll pass Lil's Saloon, a place that once kept spirits high with both charm and whiskey. It might bring a chuckle to imagine the gritty cowboys and hopeful miners debating over card games or toasting small victories as fiddlers played tunes that ricocheted off the wooden walls. One can only wonder how many disputes in debtor perhaps began over the well-worn poker table. In Calico's heyday, it was said that the silver extracted was worth millions upon millions, fortunes glittering under the scorched desert sun. It's fascinating to consider how a monster of an industry throve under such harsh conditions. And yet, as quickly as it burst into prominence, the silver's discovery faded its own demise. When larger operations elsewhere offered easier pickings, and technical innovations rendered small operations obsolete, Calico began its quiet slumber into ghostly obscurity, leaving behind grand visions reduced to whispers of wind. Peering into the dilapidated shacks and hearing the floorboards creak underfoot gives you a sense of the weariness that dwelt here when the mines began their decline, paving a slow road toward abandonment. Ironically, it's perhaps in this very desertion that Calico finds preservation frozen as an open-air museum to an industry both extraordinarily rich and devastatingly finite. The town's peculiar knack for surviving heat and neglect is mirrored by the Bottle House, a quirky chapel made not of wood and stone, but of repurposed glass bottles. It's a remnant of the innovative spirit that once thrived here. Whether it was a practical joke or an earnest architectural experiment remains debated, yet its oddity attracts visitors like moths to a flame. As night approaches and Calico's stones cool under a star-drenched sky, the perceived whispers become more distinct, as if the past is leaning in closer, drawn to the cloak of darkness. That's when the convergence of time seems most palpable. You might imagine the miners themselves sitting atop a ridge, swapping stories while watching the hypnotic panorama of fading sunlight. To today's wanderers, listening intently beside the ghostly presence of stone and sand, these tales endure, maintaining the tether between what's remembered, what's forgotten, and what flickers occasionally into the realm of superstition. Calico is a testament to resilience, its decay a quiet homage to the dreams that once flickered here as brightly as any desert beacon. With a kind of solemn humor, you think of the silver itself, how it dances through the veins of the ancient hills, mirroring the intricacies of human ambition. This town, silent and steadfast, becomes a living artifact, patiently waiting for another bold day to dawn from down among the ridges, accompanied by the eternal rustling of unsettled narratives. As you weave your way out of its dusty embrace, you sense that Calico's charm lies in this continuum of storytelling and mystery. After all, whether you're a skeptic or a believer, life thrives on tales, and here, they're deeply etched in the veins of the land itself, waiting for you to listen carefully and believe, if only just a little, in the impossible. Continuing your journey through the Wild West's tapestry of tales, you find yourself entering the now silent expanse of Rhyolite, Nevada ghost town, that took shape from the same dreams and dust as so many others. The setting sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of pink and orange that sway gently above the sprawling desert. The air is noticeably cooler here, carrying a refreshing aridity that invigorates you as it brushes past your skin. Rhyolite, once a bustling town brimmed with hope, now presents itself as a skeletal remains of its former glory. Buildings stand with their bones exposed, framed against the encroaching twilight, as if part of a forgotten storybook. There's a stillness here that feels sacred, an artistry in the decay that nature has orchestrated over time. Embark on foot, and the crunch of gravel underfoot is a rhythmic reminder of your journey into the relentless quest for countless miners who dared challenge the desert's vastness. At the edge of town, a solitary grave marker emerges from the sand's poignant symbol of Rhyolite's intriguing past. This lone grave is often the subject of mystery and speculation, capturing the imaginations of both historians and the curious. It's said to belong to a woman, though details of her story have blurred into legend over time. The suggestive etchings in the sandstone provoke scholarly debate. Was she a settler who succumbed to the harsh living conditions, or perhaps a woman on the edge of scandal? Historians still argue whether she was a victim of circumstance or a figure entwined deeply in the society's undercurrents. Looking beyond this lonesome sentinel, you're drawn into the story of Rhyolite itself, a place that once harbored dreams of gold. Established during the gold rush in the early 1900s, it sprang from the desert floor with astonishing rapidity. Yet, as quickly as the town rose, the glimmers of wealth faltered, petering out amid an economically crippling downturn. Like so many promises clasped too ardently by the desert, Rhyolite's fortune dried up, leaving rusted structures and forlorn stories. Wandering through the skeletal framework of what was once the Cook Bank building, its grandeur rivaled only by imagination now, it's easy to envision velvet carriage rides, ladies in exquisite dresses walking the city streets, and men in finely tailored suits anticipating the dawn of a golden era. Today, the shell of grandeur serves as a backdrop to the whispering winds that echo through gaping windows and rooftop ley lines. Just a stone's throw away stands the Bottle House, a whimsical creation constructed entirely from medicine and beer bottle sand, enduring testament to the ingenuity of those who built it. The glint of glass offers a delightful contrast to the grim fate that befell the town, twinkling in the moonlight as if Rhyolite's heartbeat still pulses faintly somewhere beneath the sands. Its builder, Tom Kelly, crafted this ingenious abode from over 50,000 discarded bottles, a testament to human creativity in the face of desolation. Your stroll takes you past the train depot, which stands solemnly, the last whistle long silent, a witness to the hustle that once defined the tracks lacing across this arid realm. Here and there, you notice artifacts dropped by the now long-gone inhabitants. A tarnished spoon, a broken plate, a reminder of the little lives that wove themselves into the larger fabric of Rhyolite. The night deepens, settling into silence as the stars take their posts high above. There's comfort in their familiar twinkles, guiding weary wanderers as they have for ages. It's in this stillness, perhaps, that you best comprehend the arc of human experience in these ghostly skeletal towns, the dreams that built them and the despair that deconstructed them. Rhyolite's legacy isn't about wealth or prosperity lost, but about the humanity and resilience of those who dared to dream in the face of nature's challenges. The wind caresses your cheek, a gentle reminder of the whispers that built legends, while you wonder if, perhaps, there's no such thing as a truly failed dream, only those still seeking fulfillment in the slow crawl of time. As you step away from Rhyolite, its allure lingers, infused with a reflective whisper of what life once promised. Here, a place where past and present merge into a story greater than its individual parts. Whether you walk away comforted by the notion of second chances beyond the horizon, or haunted by the silence that echoes with lost dreams, Rhyolite, with its lone grave and eerie charm, leaves a lasting mark on your imagination, a reminder that even in desolation, pieces of history breathe on, igniting curiosity and wonder in everything they touch. Now your journey wends its way to the historic ghost town of Bannack, Montana, a place where rugged beauty intertwines with stories of early ambition and eventual stillness. As you arrive, the land stretches out before you like a sepia-toned canvas, the ground hardened by summer's relentless sun, with patches of sagebrush and sparse blades of grass painting a muted tapestry of resilience. Bannack whispers of power and prestige that once throbbed through its veins, a testament to the early days of gold fever. Founded in 1862, this town swiftly blossomed with the promise of prosperity, showcasing the inevitable rise and fall of a gold rush society. Named after the native Bannack Indians, its hurried assembly from rough logs and bricks stands steadfast against the passage of time, offering a window into America's frontier spirit. As you amble down Main Street, you're struck by the sense of symmetry in the weathered wooden facades, standing shoulder to shoulder like old comrades in arms. They seem to lean into each other, exchanging secrets about the days when hundreds of prospectors roamed these streets, pockets as full of dreams as they were empty of gold. Once home to nearly 3,000 inhabitants, Bannack teetered on the edge of greatness, hopeful in its pursuit of riches present in the cool waters of Grasshopper Creek. It said that such successes were not without their share of sinister undertones, giving rise to stories of danger lurking in the corners of banality. Matters took a darker turn when Sheriff Henry Plummer, a figure oscillating between celebrated and notorious, allegedly led a gang known as the Innocents, a misnomer if ever there was one. His tale tells of heinous acts against prospectors, with historians debating whether his capture and subsequent execution were acts of justice or judicial missteps masked by hysteria and lawlessness. Eccentric characters of another sort dotted Bannack as well, drawn here by the promise of a bright future and perhaps, for some, by the unsavory allure of disorder. It suggested that as much as gold shaped this town, so too did the complex dynamics of power struggles and wild ambition. Men and women navigated between moral codes as fluid as the gold dust swirling in their pans. Bannack lived large for a time, its main street bustling with noise from hotels, saloons, and general stores. The place hummed vibrantly with life. An open stage coach might pass by, rattling a cadence harmonizing with the jangling tune of piano keys from within the Mead Hotel today, a ghostly shell of its former regal self. You allow yourself a small smile at the thought of raucous celebrations echoing within its halls, dourly juxtaposed against the somberness of the judge's gavel that fell next door. It wasn't long before reality's harsh edges dulled Bannack's bright sheen. The gold runs dipped from hearty veins to trickling whispers, and by the 1880s, the allure of richer fields elsewhere had drawn the fortune seekers away. The grand houses and humble shacks were left behind, granting them over to the vast, quiet embrace only ghost towns know. The wheels of time rolled inevitably over, leaving only the echoes of high hopes and wild tales in its wake. The resilience of Bannack now finds itself preserved by a community willing to let whispers of its past linger. Occasionally, a breeze brushes through carrying echoes of either whispered fortunes or warnings against unchecked ambition. The town's arresting landscapes are its keepers now, framing these stories against the sky. As the day begins its slow fade into early dusk, the placid glow of sunset bathes Bannack in a warm reminder of the gold once sought in its cool creek beds. This moment serves as both a closing chapter and an invitation to contemplate the embellished realities forged by the inhabitants, the blurred lines between survival and exploitation, and the web of choice dangling before each story's pen. Step across the bridge near the mill, where once the clangor of industry rivaled that of nature's efforts. Feel the weight of adorned legends behind each creek, a reminder of the perseverance found in history's margins. Who knows? Perhaps sometime, somewhere in the future, enough of those tales will weave their way forward, full circle to meet your own, igniting a spark as enduring as the gold fever that sparked it all. In the end, Bannack invites you both to listen and to speak, to indulge in the unvarnished recollection that even amidst decay, greatness flickers as a wonder, regardless of the shadows surrounding it. Like any well-shaped ghost town, its story is timelessly open-ended, leaving you to ponder with a quiet grin about the powerful legacies left by those who dared to dream on ground so promising and perilous, their whispers of conviction still quietly resonating beneath a big sky. Venturing deeper into the legacy of the Wild West, you now arrive at Virginia City, Nevada town that skyrocketed to fame and fortune, driven by the glimmering veins of silver that lay nestled beneath its rugged terrain. Here, the air feels thick with history. Every gust of wind seems to swirl with whispers of opulence and ambition, mingled with the scent of pine and the faintest touch of sagebrush. Virginia City emerged in the frenzied years of the 1860s, becoming synonymous with the Comstock lodestone of the richest silver deposits ever discovered. As you step onto its wooden boardwalks, the echoes of bustling activity of miners, business magnates, and fortune seekers seem to reverberate through the chaotic symphony of dreams and desperation. The town grew rapidly, transforming from a humble mining camp to a thriving city marked by grand buildings and elaborate architecture that still hint at their former grandeur. Imagine the streets teeming with life, the air charged with the excitement of enterprise as investors, including notable names like William Ralston and George Hearst, gambled fortunes on the soaring crescent of silver-rich earth. Virginia City became a hub of innovation, the wealth generated here paving the way for new technologies and advancements extending well beyond its dusty streets. Yet, just as quickly as the silver's allure built empires, it twisted fates, leaving stories riddled with tales of rapid ascents and cataclysmic plunges. For each individual who struck it rich, there were many more whose dreams were swallowed by the mine's dark maw. The town flickered with contradiction, a place where prosperity mingled effortlessly with peril. Strolling the streets today, you might feel the gritty presence of long-gone prospectors, ghostly echoes of their labors palpable beneath your feet. The Old West's robust character is on full display in landmarks like the Bucket of Blood Saloon, where long nights once yielded reckless revelry, animated by banjo tunes and tales, spun as richly as the precious metals mined below. Imagine the camaraderie forged with every tinkling toast and raucous clap on the back, each laugh echoing through Virginia City's legacy. In the softening light, eyes drawn to the hillside, you notice the Nevada landscape dotted with the remnants of hoist houses and headframes, shadowed sentinels of their industrious past. As darkness blankets the valley, historically-minded souls still argue fervently in favor of Virginia City's rightful position as the cradle of modern urban society. Did this once rich terrain ignite the flames of industrial innovation or merely fan the flames of greed? Yet, amidst these distinguished edifices and spirited debates, Virginia City was a place of contrasts at every turn. Lurking beneath the gleeful decadence were danger's lost lives, darkened tunnels, and the mercurial quest for something more. The tragedy, sometimes worn hand in hand with success, leaves a lingering question about the resilience needed to weather the dual threat of nature and ambition. As Virginia City waned with the diminishing returns of silver, it became an echo of its former vitality. But the town refused to vanish completely, preserved as a shrine to grit and glory, its stories curated with care. Walking the quiet streets now, Virginia City feels poised on a precipice between reality and myth, straddling the line between the living present and the richly storied past. Even in this quiet, remnants of the old can tempt the present, invoking a sly smile at the things that persist in spirit if not in substance. You might chuckle at the prospect of silver-loving miners adopting the latest fascination. Ethereal prospection, an idea at once satirical and not entirely beyond credence, its magic wrapped in ambition, tenacity kindling the fires of the unknown. As your time in Virginia City draws to a close, the shadows grow long and the cricket's songs ride the cooling breeze. You ponder the blend of fact and legend that intertwines here, understanding that being wholly grounded in reality was never the object there in this town, where silver's glow once outshone stars. It's the coexistence and interplay of stories that tell the more profound tale. Virginia City stands as a testimony to an era, and its indomitable spirit a symbol of prosperity hard-won and lessons learned through striving. Walking away, night deepening all around you, there's comfort in knowing that such treasured legacies are not gone, but eternally dwelling among the rolling hills, waiting patiently in the sage-scented air for future generations to find them once more. Your travels now draw you into the storied nook of Deadwood, South Dakota, place where the sharp peaks of the Black Hills cradle a town rich with tales as tangled as the mines that birthed it. The air here is imbued with a crispness that hints at the nearby pines, a freshness that feels almost electric as it settles over the contours of the land. Deadwood, a name synonymous with the golden rush of fortune, was a legendary draw in the late 1870s, when gold lay hidden beneath layers of hard rock and ambitious dreams. The town's origins are rooted in an illegal settlement, as prospectors rushed into the sacred lands of the Lakota Sioux seeking fortune, defying government treaties and staking claims to riches that glimmered tantalizingly beneath the earth. As you walk its streets, imagine the meeting of old and new, of wild ambition and untamed nature, a microcosm of the all-American frontier experience. The mingling aromas of tobacco and horseflesh dance through time, intertwining with the scent of pine wafting from the encircling hills. Alongside you, the specters of miners once flushed with the golden fever tease at the edges of your perception. Deadwood's reputation was forged by audacious figures both noble and notorious who graced its streets and its taverns. Consider Calamity Jane, whose mythos is as colorful as her name, a woman who defied conventions and wove herself a place in frontier folklore. Or Wild Bill Hickok, whose tragic death in a poker game forever cast a long shadow over the town's narrative. Legends tell of Hickok's dead man's hand aces and eights, a legacy that underlines the notion that luck, ever fickle, is both a friend and foe in the gambling spirit of frontier life. Associated tales suggest a chill of forewarning enveloping him, a tickle of superstition regularly debated by contemporary storytellers. Historians still argue whether this iconic hand was serendipity or simply the luck of a gambler entangled in fate's twine, his story enduring as a pivotal yarn in Deadwood's tapestry. Deadwood was a city of paradoxes, its prosperity fueled by the very lawlessness that brimmed steely reflection in the gaze of men who grappled with moral codes as flexible as the gold they sought. These contradictions ring even now from the saloon doors to the mining shafts, whispering of an electrifying past that wasn't for the faint of heart. Strolling past the saloon facades, you can almost hear the click of dice and the jubilant ring of coins snapping against wood, the backdrop to conversations spiced with tall tales and bravado. Here, the glowing embers of history burn brightly, casting long shadows that weave an intricate tapestry of perseverance and promise. Beyond the din and clatter of city streets, nature enveloped these tales, almost as a guardian. The nearby hills, creased with pine and granite, have watched myriad fables unfold, their presence as constant as the stars that crown them. To this day, gold veins run beneath the land, testament to nature's unconquerable mysteria treasures still intertwining with modern-day curiosity and anticipation. Deadwood's rise parallels its fall, a precipitous decline, mirrored in the dwindling flames of opportunity. As the gold began to run dry, so too did the fever, leaving behind echoes of a town that had tasted ephemeral prosperity and confronted both elation and despair at its bounty. Indeed, Deadwood's genius lies not in a single story but in the overlapping layers that create its mythic intrigue. While its past was marked by the relentless pursuit of wealth, today, Deadwood balances its heritage with preservation, embracing history, as chimneys of old welcome curious visitors, eager to unlatch the secrets of yesteryears not so easily forgotten. As you wander away from its corners, following paths weighted with untold stories, there's a chuckle-worthy irony in the fact that even ghosts, Wild Bill among them, might join ghost tours, casually nodding to everyone chasing their own golden dreams in the modern world. It comforts you to think that Deadwood's eclectic mix of characters, treasures, and tales ensure that, no matter the era, this vibrant ghost town thrives in the hearts of those it captivates. Embrace the night's descent as it filters through the pines, wrapping these storied hills in a calm so profound that it bridges the past and present, inviting the weary traveler to consider the enduring song of Deadwood's legacy, a melody of intrigue and ingenuity, forged in gold's lustrous shadow. Leaving behind the storied whispers of Deadwood, your path leads to the lesser-known yet equally captivating ghost town of Grafton, Utah. Nestled within the red rock majesty of the American Southwest, Grafton stands against a backdrop that's as dramatic as the legends that persist within its faded remnants. The color palette here is remarkable. Ochre cliffs rise above the verdant sweep of the Virgin River, their natural symmetry contrasting with the deliberate, if somewhat haphazard, arrangement of the abandoned settlement. Grafton's history reads like a chapter snatched from an epic novel, an experiment in perseverance amid harsh and often unpredictable conditions. Founded initially in the 1850s as part of the Mormon expansion, it once hummed with life and the promise of agricultural prosperity. You can almost feel the ambition radiating from the scarcely trodden paths that lead into the heart of this ghost town, with its scattered homes, barns, and schoolhouses standing silent under the vast sky. The soft rustle of cottonwood leaves mingles with the seductive murmur of the nearby river, prompting you to imagine the past inhabitants who dared to plant roots in this sandy land. Early settlers faced harsh conditions, with floods and drought waging an unyielding battle against human determination. It's easy to picture the resilience required to forge ahead, to coax sustenance from the dry soil, the sun overhead sometimes offering more of an enemy than a friend. As the sun dips lower in the sky, casting elongated shadows that wrap around peeling wooden walls, you become acutely aware of Grafton's enigmatic emptiness. This is a place strong enough to harbor both memory and mysteria, fine balance, achieved through years of coexistence between fortune and ruin. Hints of old laughter might seem to stir in the golden light that filters through the cracked window panes, carrying memories of community gatherings and whispered conversations about crops, weather, and faith. The cemetery Hirian, often overlooked, gem nestled under towering cottonwoods, offers its own poignant narrative. Simple headstones mark the resting places of those who once walked these paths. Each grave tells its own story of triumphs, trials, and the relentless passage of time. Stories like the Windsor Castle Massacre, which historians still argue over, particularly whether it was a grim incident amplified by myth or a calculated act of violence. This is a place where the line between history and legend blurs, leaving room for whispers to linger, inviting curious minds to ponder the unresolved truths. Grafton's most enduring tale captures a twist in its story, the sudden exodus and the reasons therein. In the early 20th century, families eventually sought new horizons, abandoning the settlement due to challenges too steep to scale, leaving their homes behind as silent witnesses of determination. But what if stories of cursed lands played an unspoken hand? Perhaps, with a chuckle, you might imagine former residents grumbling about supernatural nudgers prodding them past endurance, their tales carried by sly desert winds. While desolate, Grafton is far from forgotten. Its picturesque charm and rustic authenticity have captured the imaginations of Hollywood filmmakers and photographers alike. If you listen closely, the rafters still hum with the remembered strains of cinema's making as Grafton found its place immortalized on celluloid, glimpses of these vistas captured for modern eyes to behold. Movies like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, with its legendary bike scene, sparkle at the fringes of its cultural contribution. As twilight descends, painting everything in dusky hues of purples and blues, Grafton feels like a cocoon of quiet sanctity, a rare intersection of human effort and natural preservation. It's a snapshot of life played out against the rugged and unimpeachable canvas of the Southwest, an enduring reminder that not all ghosts remain unseen. Some linger in the forgotten seams of landscapes, in the space between one heartbeat and the next. With stars beginning to twinkle into life overhead, you reflect on Grafton's persistent allure. It's a sanctuary for the imagination, a whispering ghost that seems to say, "Come wander my trails, listen to my stories, and add your footfalls to my untold sagas." Here, beneath the eternal gaze of Zion's cliffs, past and present welcome all poets and dreamers eager to breathe fresh breath into the quiet tales of yesteryear. You leave, content in the knowledge that, though time and trials may have chased people away, Grafton Abadesa monument to the undying spirit that once quickened its heart, honored by lonesome echoes of perseverance, quietly waiting for its next chapter to unfold under the watchful eyes of the ever-looming canyon walls. As you continue your exploration of the enigmatic echoes of the Wild West, your journey brings you to Cerro Gordo, California. Perched high in the Inyo Mountains, this ghost town offers a panoramic view that stretches across the expanse of the Owens Valley, where the desolate beauty of the desert meets the majestic rise of the eastern Sierra Nevada. The air here is thin and crisp, a reminder of the altitude, while the solitude is profound, encasing Cerro Gordo in a silence only broken by the wind's whispers through rocky crevices. Cerro Gordo, Fat Hill in Spanish, rose to significance as a silver mining beacon in the late 19th century. As you navigate the paths that twist through this mountainous domain, you feel the palpable presence of history etched into each pebble and beam. The town burgeoned with fortune hunters eager to extract the wealth hidden within its hills, their hopes as soaring as the peaks that loomed above. Walking through the remnants of buildings that echo past prosperity, you might stumble upon Cerro Gordo's reputed ghostly guests. Tales persist of miners who met their end in the labyrinthine tunnels beneath your feet, their souls rumored to still wander, casting long shadows by starlight. There are murmurs of flickering lamps seen from the distance on moonless nights, a spectral lantern tour illuminating corridors long since emptied of human life. One of the more infamous spirits is said to belong to Jim Vogan, a miner whose story ended tragically within Cerro Gordo's depths. The enduring legend insists his restless spirit lingers near the silver-smelting ruins, his presence a silent testament to the perilous life endured by the miners. Historians still debate the details of his demise, questioning whether Jim fell victim to an accident or foul play, adding layers to the enigma surrounding this forlorn narrative. Beyond the ghostly tales, Cerro Gordo was a town of enterprise and ambition. At its peak, it was responsible for producing tons of silver and lead, an economic powerhouse connected to Los Angeles by an ardent web of desert trade routes. This mineral wealth fostered not only growth but conflict, as competing interests vied for supremacy in the bustling markets of the day. Among the structures still standing is the American Hotel, considered to be the oldest commercial building in Inyo County. Here, stories abound of games of chance and evenings marinated in whiskey and laughter, punctuated by the occasional brawl. Looking at its facade today, it's easy to imagine a card game called Beneath a Hanging Oil Lamp, the players' faces shadowed now by time's wings. The infamous Belshaw House also juts proudly from Cerro Gordo's tilted horizon, offering a glimpse into the more distinguished echelons of its society. John Belshaw, one of the town's key figures, made his fortune not only by extracting ore, but by mastering the business of trade. The opulence of his residence, now a haunting relic, signifies a worldly serendipity that Hermit Bill might have envied as he watched opportunities rise and wane. As you explore, the landscape speaks its language: sparse vegetation, rocky outcrops, the occasional tenacious wildflower defiantly greeting the blistering sun or cold night. At night, under the vastness above, you might find Cerro Gordo still beckoning, offering its silvered past wrapped in moonlight and shadow, a soft sigh above the wind. Yet Cerro Gordo's fate was sealed as the mines dwindled and natural disasters wreaked havoc, guiding the town toward its ghostly stasis. The storms that swept through stripped away its thriving pulse, leaving foundations exposed to the elements. Humanity's imprint is both stark and gently a row of dusty structures, preserved somewhat by the arid climate, still whispers to those with ears to hear. A light-hearted jest greets your parting thoughts. If Cerro Gordo were an atmospheric hotel offering spectral accommodations, you think back on the popular, intrinsically spirited miners demanding a late checkout, but mysteriously never leaving. With ghost hunters aplenty, imagine the laughter of tour guides savoring each reaction to the timeless story of a town frozen yet alive in imagination's grasp. As you depart Cerro Gordo, taking one last look back at its stony silhouette against the setting sun, there's an undeniable sense of legacy wrapped within its confines. It captures an enterprise invigorated by dreams, tempered by hardship, and sustained by an uncanny tapestry of stories yet to be fully told. Under the vast California sky, you carry with you the town's haunting elegancia, place where shadows of history linger, bound by the resilient hope of those who once chased prosperity here, all standing still against each sunset and held alive in visitors' footsteps. Their echoes resonate softly, a ghostly concert that invites, intrigues, and enchants the curious hearts of wandering souls drawn to Cerro Gordo. Leaving Cerro Gordo's spectral heights behind, your journey bends southward to the historic veins of Eldorado Canyon, Nevada. Here, the harsh beauty of the desert landscape envelops you. The sun, a relentless sentinel, casting sharp shadows on the rocks below. Each step you take seems to awaken the echoes of an era when the quest for gold and silver imbued this canyon with ambition and intrigue. Eldorado Canyon's name is apt to beacon for treasure seekers who flocked here during the gold rush, enticed by tales of riches concealed beneath the rugged terrain. This place is steeped in history and mystery, offering a labyrinth of stories etched into its sun-baked surface. The canyon's towering walls, streaked with ochre and charcoal, stand as silent witnesses to the dreams, struggles, and secrets that have unfolded here. As you venture deeper into the canyon, the temperature rises, and the air becomes thick with the scent of desert sage mingling with dust, a rugged perfume that invigorates your senses. The silence is palpable, broken only by the distant rustle of desert creatures going about their tireless existence in this harsh environment. The Tecaticup mine, central to this canyon's lore, sprawls before you. Its long-abandoned shafts spiral into the earth like forgotten veins of fortune. It's easy to imagine miners, pickaxes in hand, pushing into the depths, driven by dreams of wealth, many of them unaware that the true treasure lay in the stories they were creating, tales that continue to wind their way through time itself. Eldorado Canyon was as notorious for its treacherous dealings as for the ore extracted. Historians still argue about the extent of banditry and conflict, with tales of brutal mine ownership disputes and lawlessness. It's rumored that the canyon's remoteness was both a blessing and a curse, providing protection, as well as a sanctuary for those with darker pursuits. Conflict was often resolved not with words, but with the harsh finality of a smoking revolver. As you tread carefully over rocky pathways, the canyon reveals its hidden secrets. Rusting mining equipment lies scattered like forgotten relics, a testament to the once thriving operations that hummed with life and labor. It's said that at nightfall, when shadows stretch long and the cooling desert breeze sweeps through, one might catch a whisper of ghostly miners, still plying their trade in the echoing chambers below. The landscape here is a stark reminder of nature's uncompromising power. The Colorado River, a shimmering ribbon of life winding its way through the canyon, carries with it tales of explorers and pioneers who braved its currents amid the canyon's grandeur. You imagine the traders and fortune seekers navigating its waters, their vessels laden with the weight of both supplies and unspoken hopes. Beyond the canyon's geological wonders and tales of gold and silver, there are more esoteric whisper stories of hidden fortunes, meticulously concealed by outlaws, forever eluding discovery. These tales have captured the imaginations of treasure hunters for generations. Whether or not they hold truth, they add a layer of intrigue to the canyon's already rich narrative tapestry. In the midday heat, you seek solace in the shade of cottonwoods that line the river's banks, their leaves shimmering like emeralds in the sunlit air. A light-hearted thought dances across your mind. You muse on the idea that if the canyon could speak, it would likely chuckle at the ceaseless human attempts to tame and treasure hunt its grounds. The stories of Eldorado Canyon endure because they are a mirror of human persistence, an unyielding testament to the spirit of adventure and the lust for discovery. This place stands as a monument to the timeless conflict between ambition and reality, between nature's serenity and its fierce, relentless dominance. With dusk approaching, casting an amber glow over the canyon, you feel a blend of awe and tranquility. Though the riches of gold and silver may have slipped through the canyon's fingers, what remains is a wealth of stories, narratives that continue to captivate the minds of those who wander into its embrace. As you leave Eldorado Canyon behind, the silhouette of the sun sinks below the horizon, painting the sky with fiery streaks. You carry with you the echoes of the canyon's secrets, its tales of intrigue and adventure forever etched into the depths of your imagination. Eldorado Canyon cradles its mysteries within the embrace of its rocky arms, inviting those bold enough to seek them out, to listen to its whispers, and to weave their own stories into the desert tableau that stretches as far as the eye can see. Continuing your adventure through the historic ghost towns of the West, you arrive at the vibrant echoes of Jerome, Arizona. Nestled into the seams of Cleopatra Hill, Jerome offers a panoramic view of the Verde Vallet's broad expanse, stitched with vineyards and artists' enclaves, transforming the area into a vibrant tapestry alive with color and texture. Here, the air is cooler, filled with the scent of pine mingling with hints of mineral-rich earth. Jerome is known as one of the liveliest ghost towns, a moniker that reflects not just its bustling past but its enduring allure. From the late 19th century into the early 20th century, This was a town teeming with miners' grit and a palpable sense of possibility. Copper was king, and Jerome's mines yielded riches that made the ground tremble with the efforts of both man and machine. The echoes you hear beneath your feet might very well belong to the dynamite blasts and clinking pickaxes, carving out prosperity from the copper-laden hillsides. Once heralded as the largest ghost city in America, Jerome was a melting pot of cultures, where the prospect of wealth drew people from all over the globe. This convergence created a lively, sometimes raucous community bustling with saloons, theaters, and dance halls. Each establishment bore the stamp of exuberance etched out of necessity, where moments of joy had to be captured quickly before the earth shook again with the cacophony of mining zeal. Allow your imagination free rein as you wander past the facades of former boarding houses and bars along Jerome Avenue, standing tall with stories embedded in each creak of their weathered wood. It's easy to conjure the lively clamor of debate and laughter spilling onto the streets, especially from places like the infamous wickedest town in the West, where debauchery was as common as mining. There's a hint of wry humor here. Consider the infamous sliding jail, a jumping jack of a building that relocated gradually as the mining excavations shifted the ground beneath it. Today, it stands still, a humorous relic of Jerome's heyday, chuckling silently at the folly of unchecked industry mixed with gravity's gentle persuasion. Yet, beyond its notorious reputation and high-spirited past, Jerome faced an all-too-common ghost town fate. By the 1950s, as copper demand dwindled and mines closed, the town's population trickled away, leaving only a whisper of its former self echoing against bare walls. Nature's slow yet steady reclamation provided quiet company to the ghosts of prosperity past. Today, Jerome thrives on a different kind of wealth-own enriched by history, art, and resilience. Artists and craftspeople have reignited its pulse, transforming it into a haven where creative energy flows as freely as the wine from its vineyards. Old buildings now house galleries, studios, and boutiques, places where the imagination dances no less fervently than before. As you stand amidst the creative renaissance that courses through Jerome, you either sense or understand it's perhaps this alchemy of past and present that gives rise to reports of ghostly manifestations. Visitors say, perhaps more than a few, residents claim to hear echoes of miners' footsteps or catch fleeting glimpses of bygone figures lingering at dusk. Is it nostalgia? A ghostly trick of the mind? Or simply the spirits of the town savoring the artistic revival? Historians still debate whether these spectral phenomena are born from Jerome's fabled resilience or are remnants of souls woven too deeply into the fabric of their beloved town to leave. Whichever the case, Jerome's ghostly reputation only adds to its accommodation of contradictions, a vivid reminder of life's dynamic tapestry. As the sun dips low, painting the valley in strands of gold, you consider Jerome's balance between thriving history and lively present, a juxtaposition that encourages both reflection and celebration. The tales of miners and makers mingle, their whispers interlacing in a lullaby that cradles those wandering these storied paths. Leaving the old mining town, you marvel at how Jerome stands proudly at this crossroads of time, as much a part of the living as the past, a testament to the enduring strength of a community transformed. And as evening caresses the vibrant hills, a gentle breeze lifts some lingering echoes from the past, inviting them into the easy comfort of the night, an invitation, perhaps, for anyone willing to listen, to join this enchanted narrative that continues to unfold against a backdrop of both shadow and light. Departing the vibrant contrasts of Jerome, your journey leads you to Goldfield, Nevada, a town where the echoes of splendor still cling to the arid air like desert dust. Nestled amid a sprawling expanse of sagebrush and sun-drenched landscapes, Goldfield stands as a testament to the rapid rise and equally precipitous fall that defines many ghost towns of the Wild West. As you weave your way through the remnants of Goldfield, the desert's midday heat beats down relentlessly, the sun not just a celestial body, but an ever-present companion. The breeze, when it blows, is dry, and carries with it the whispers of history, mingled with the scent of minerals, unearthed, but now long exhausted. Founded in the early 1900s, Goldfield lived a brief but intense life as a booming mining town. It was gold, naturally, that drew people to these rugged hills, a discovery that sparked a rush, turning this patch of Nevada's unforgiving terrain into a bustling metropolis almost overnight. At its peak, Goldfield was the largest city in the state, a testament to the seduction of gold's glitter and an empire built on fleeting wealth. Walking its streets today, you can imagine the vibrant life that was once the town's pulse. The rumble of carts and the chatter of excited prospectors created a symphony that mixed hope and ambition. Here, the diverse fabric of life wove itself around saloons, hotels, and houses of commerce, each one a brick in the mortar of Goldfield's short-lived grandeur. As you explore, your eyes catch the majesty of the Goldfield Hotel, an imposing structure that still looms over the town. This building is as architecturally impressive as it is storied, with its grand brick facade standing as a monument to an era when prosperity was only as permanent as the next lucky strike. Even now, the hotel is the subject of countless ghost stories, with some claiming to have seen the spectral figure of a woman named Elizabeth, a lady said to be forever searching for something lost within its haunted corridors. Legend has it that Elizabeth was a woman abandoned by a prosperous mining man, condemned to pace the halls of the decaying relic, her presence felt rather than seen. The rumor mills suggest that she met a tragic end here, prompting endless debates among paranormal enthusiasts and historians alike about the veracity of her tale. Is she merely a product of Goldfield's ghostly imagination, or do the hotel's dark corners truly harbor echoes from the other side? Beyond the tales, there's a whimsical sentiment attached to Goldfieldone that you might find in the stories of the Goldfield Days Festival, which celebrates the town's heritage with a jovial reenactment of its infamous past. This light-hearted event carries a sense of timelessness, as if the past is extending a playful hand, inviting the present to join in a dance upon its dusty streets. Despite its decline, Goldfield didn't fade quietly into obscurity. Even as the mines emptied and the clamorous march of fortune-seekers moved on, the town has continued to cultivate its mystique. It stands not as a remnant of failure, but as a tribute to the tenacity and dreams that propelled it from golden aspirations to yet another chapter in the storybook of forgotten places. As shadows grow long under the blistering sun, the landscape absorbs the cooling embrace of evening. The gentle night draws over Goldfield like a comforting blanket, toning its vivid history down to softened whispers. The ultimate fate of its riches remains a mirage, a dream once fervently chased, and now part of a ghost's tale. Goldfield's endurance lies not in its mined wealth, but in its enduring spirit, a legend, etched upon the rocky canvas of Nevada's heart. It's this spirit that draws new generations, tempting them to listen closely for the whispers of yesteryear threading through the sagebrush, promising stories yet to unfold. As you turn away from its storied streets, Goldfield remains etched into your memory, a reminder that even in quietude, the echo of adventure lingers. This place asks nothing more than to be remembered not just for its abandoned buildings, but for the tapestry of human lives that once intersected here. Amidst the sandy whispers and the starlit Nevada skies, you carry these stories forward, a part of you now inseparable from the silent legacy of Goldfield, a legacy both ghostly and grand. As your journey through the ghost towns of the Wild West continues, you find yourself drawn to the idiosyncrasies of Chloride, Arizona. Perched near the edge of the Cerro Mountains, Chloride is one of those rare ghost towns that seems to defy its own desertion, embodying a quirky persistence amid the arid expanse. The approach to Chloride is marked by a landscape where earth tones dominate a canvas of whites and browns, painted with splashes of endless sky. The town itself offers a vivid tapestry, its sagging structures and gravel streets bearing witness to a history as colorful as the murals adorning its crumbling walls. The breeze here is balm-like, carrying a medley of sage and distant rock dust, a perfume reminiscent of bygone days when the air was heavy with ambition, and the clatter of pickaxes rang out in chorus. Chloride is a testament to the silver rush of the late 19th century, a town that swelled with possibility as silver seams were uncovered in the mountains nearby. Miners and settlers flocked here with dreams of prosperity, their vitality infusing this patch of desert with life. As you explore its eccentric streets, you imagine the cacophony of those days, where the promise of riches was as tangible as the blistering sun overhead. The town's legacy isn't solely tied to the precious metal that prompted its rise. It's also a living tapestry of human creativity and resilience, embodied by the quirky murals for which Chloride is famed. Local artist Roy Purcell began painting them in the 1960s, transforming nearby rock faces into vibrant storytelling canvases. These whimsical depictions of vivid scenes, with their hues both playful and profound, capture the essence of Chloride's character where history and artistry collide with unapologetic exuberance. Humor threads its way through Chloride's narrative as effortlessly as the graffiti that decorates its surfaces. It's not hard to picture the rambunctious spirit of old-timers, their laughter ringing out amid tales of fortunes lost and found. Chloride seems to laugh with them too, its charm amplified by a playful defiance against the inevitability of abandonment. While Chloride did face the same somber fate as many mining towns after the veins ran dry, it never completely relinquished its hold on life. Instead, it welcomes visitors with open arms and a sly wink, like a storyteller pausing at the punchline, inviting you to chuckle along. Walk further into the town, past the patchwork of history sewn into its fabric, and you may sense those stories inviting you to sit a spell in the whimsical shadows of decorated rocks. There's a light-hearted soul in this place that still beats, faint but persistent a refusal to bow to time's erasure. And though it is a ghost town, make no mistake, Chloride is alive with its own blend of mirth and memory. Modern settlers and visitors keep its spirit alive, drawn to its ineffable charm and the feeling that here, stories never truly end, only evolve. Evenings in Chloride unveil an unusual beauty beneath the star-spangled sky, as the rock murals capture and reflect the twinkling starlight. A gentle glow that whispers of vitality, despite the silence. You find yourself smiling at the notion that somewhere in the ether, the ancients of this land join those early settlers, all participating in an eternal campfire tale muted only by the interval of night. As you prepare to leave this enchanted pocket of history, you take with you a sense of Chloride's enduring spirit. It teaches you the power of story to transcend time and place, reminding you that even amidst echoes of faded grandeur, there is joy to be found, and cherished be it in a well-told tale or the bold stroke of a creative brush. So leave this quirky town with the lingering promise that somewhere beneath Arizona's endless sky, Chloride's heart still beats in a lullaby of laughter and legacy, both a memory and a modern marvel. Let its unique voice accompany you, a lasting echo of charm and artistic whimsy, as you continue along your path through the timeless terrain of forgotten places where history and myth meld into a kaleidoscope of desert dreams. Journeying deeper into the heart of the Wild West's forgotten locales, you find yourself standing in the remnants of Elkhorn, Montana. Here, history and nature engage in a gentle tug-of-war, vying for dominance over this quiet pocket surrounded by the jagged silhouettes of the Elkhorn Mountains. As you step forward, the air is crisp, imbued with the invigorating scent of pine mingling with the earthy aroma of dew-kissed soil. Elkhorn is cradled in a serenely picturesque setting, once a booming silver town, now embraced by the stillness that settled after its inhabitants drifted away. In the 1870s, this place pulsed with the hum of industry, driven by the enthusiasm of those eager to extract the treasures veined beneath the forested hills. As you stand within the town's skeleton, it's not hard to imagine the sounds of a bustling community, the clang of blacksmiths, the rush of miners, and the laughter of families congregating under the vast Montana sky. Among the weathered structures, the Fraternity Hall and Jillian Hall remain as haunting icons of Elkhorn's spirited past. Known for their astonishing architecture, they resisted time's ravages with a dignity rarely seen in ghost towns. Their pitched roofs and elaborate woodwork whisper of social gatherings that once filled these walls with music and merriment, dances where the evening wrapped around attendees like a velvet cloak. Despite the surrounding silence, these halls still exude a palpable vibrancy, echoing with the memories of celebrations long past. Elkhorn was more than just a cluster of mining exploits. It was a community crafted from the tenacity of its people, and one that underscored the Wild West's themes of both opportunity and challenge. During its peak, Elkhorn boasted a diverse population, drawn together by the allure of silver. It was a place of both joy and struggle, where lives intertwined and stories were woven into the fabric of this rugged landscape. Yet, like many towns reliant on mining, Elkhorn's prosperity was tethered to the whims of the market and the treacherous slopes they mined. As silver prices plummeted towards the end of the 19th century, Elkhorn began its slow retreat into obscurity, its inhabitants scattered like seeds on the wind. Nature, patient and unyielding, began her slow reclamation of the area, enfolding remnants in lush greenery and whispering winds. The cemetery, located just beyond the town's boundaries, stations itself as a poignant reminder of those who thrived upon this land. Simple, weather-worn headstones tell tales of lives cut short in an era marked by perseverance and peril. Here lie the narratives of both those who found Elkhorn in pursuit of dreams and those who met their end in the untamed wilderness. Historians still argue over some of the more mysterious epitaphs, their stories partially obscured by the shadows of time, inviting you to wonder about the secrets these hills hold. The juxtaposition of Elkhorn's brief, bright energy against its somber decline is striking, yet it's precisely this contrast that imbues the town with its quiet power. Amidst timber and brick, the past and present intermingle, fostering a serene kind of beauty one where the echoes of human endeavor and nature's enduring strength coexist. In the midst of your exploration, a light-hearted whimsy takes hold as you envision the ghosts of Elkhorn gathering for an impromptu masquerade ball, the memory of those grand halls filling with footsteps and faint strains of a waltz on the breeze. There's warmth in the thought that perhaps the spirits of Elkhorn find solace in the festivities that live on in echoes. With the sun dipping lower, the mountains cast long shadows that stretch like stories across the valley. As you turn away from the town's skeletal remains, the enduring silence wraps around you, a gentle companion suggesting contemplation and wonder. Elkhorn exemplifies the resilience of tales untold, a place where the past remains vivid in its abandonment and where nature enfolds humanity's fleeting grasp in a paradox of permanence and ephemerality. It invites you to ponder the legacies left by those who carved their existence from rock and dream, and who live on now through the land and the murmured stories whispered by the winds of time. Carrying this sense of serenity forward, you leave Elkhorn with a piece of its soul stitched into your spirit, a testament to passion and perseverance in the face of the wildly unpredictable tapestry that is life in the unbridled West. As you move onward, remember the dance of Elkhorn's pasta, courteous nod to the beauty and the challenges, the laughter and the tears, forever captured under the broad, watchful sky. As your journey unfolds amid the ghostly haunts of the West, you find yourself in the elusive shadows of Silver Reef, Utah. It's a place where the Earth's contrasts showcase nature's artistry. Here, the brilliant reds of the sandstone meet stark white layers of silver-bearing rock, an unexpected marriage of desert and mineral wealth that ignited excitement in the late 19th century. Silver Reef's story is one of anomaly and adventure. Unlike the mountainous veins typical of silver mines, the deposits here were unique, forming in sandstone rather than the usual dark rock. It was a discovery that defied geological expectations and drew miners from far and wide, eager to stake their claim on this miraculous oddity. As you stroll through what remains of Silver Reef, the ghost town captures your senses with the feeling of being tucked into a painted desert dreamscape. The stark silence is complemented by the soft rustle of the breeze dancing through scrubby oaks and juniper, while the rich scent of sagebrush wafts gently through the air. Each step on the sandy path kicks up a small plume of dust, as if unearthing whispered stories long settled into the earth. During its heyday, Silver Reef was an energetic boomtown, a bustling center of commerce and ambition. Miners and merchants populated its streets, and the heart of the town beat vibrantly between dance halls, saloons, and shops that lined the main thoroughfare. The hum of prosperity was palpable, each day filled with both the promise of riches and the unerring uncertainties inherent to pioneer life. Yet beneath its prosperity lurked Shadow's rocky arguments, claims contested amid soaring fortunes and dreams dashed. The prosperity at Silver Reef was as quicksilver as the metal itself. The very geology that made it a sensation contributed to its unpredictable yields, and when the silver seams began to dry up, the vibrant clamor of daily life ebbed away, leaving ghostly echoes in its wake. What's left today of Silver Reef is both physical and spiritual, a collection of crumbling brick foundations and vacant lots, mirrors of the fortunes extracted and spent. Under the azure dome of the sky, ruins of the Wells Fargo building lend a regal air, hinting at the town's solid past. Here people sent and received not just letters and treasures, but hopes wrapped in packages bound for distant places. Nearby, the former sites of residences and businesses now serve as platforms for imagination and speculation. Visitors search for clues about the lives and stories nestled within these skeletal remnants, a quest that often offers more questions than answers. Historians still debate various aspects of Silver Reef's rise and fall, including the veracity of some flamboyant tales that characterize its past, leaving plenty of room for interpretation and fantasy. A particularly whimsical story tells of a miner who purportedly struck it rich only to squander his newfound wealth on an elaborate banquet for his muley, a tale that captures both the whimsy and folly that often accompany the rush for riches. Whether this story holds a glimmer of truth or was spun to embellish the fabric of local folklore, it perfectly embodies the spirit of a place where dreams were as fluid as quicksilver. As evening rolls in, the setting sun bathes Silver Reef in a golden hue, painting long shadows that stretch across the desert floor. You might imagine the ghosts of the past perched upon the crumbling wall remnants, quietly reminiscing or chuckling about the good old days when the town hummed with life and expectation. Standing amid these ruins, there's a reverent recognition of the challenges faced by those who lived here, a community defined by enterprise and endurance, braving both the physical and economic elements. They knew that even life etched in stone can be as transient as shifting sand. As you prepare to leave Silver Reef, the descending night offers a peaceful reminder of its brief brilliance, a star shimmering against the darkened canvas, capturing the town's enduring allure. With a knowing smile, you carry its legacy forward, recognizing that even in its silent decay, Silver Reef is anything but still. The sound of your footsteps meld into the embrace of the encroaching dusk, a soft coda to the town's unfinished symphony. You leave with a piece of its mystery intertwined with your own story, a gentle nod to the dreamers and doers who walked before you, their echoes ever present in the undulating desert breeze. Continuing your exploration through the haunting vestiges of the Wild West, you find yourself drawn to the Empire Mine in Nevada County, California. This isn't a typical ghost town, it's more a ghostly relic, a monument to the enduring echo of human ambition, etched into the slopes of the Sierra Nevada foothills. The air here is thick with the scent of pine and the crisp bite of mountain air, invigorating your senses as you stand among the towering Douglas firs that silently guard the secrets of the past. The Empire Mine was one of the oldest, largest, and most prosperous mines in California, where technology and ambition merged to extract fortunes from deep beneath the earth. During its operation from 1850 until its closure in 1956, the mine produced nearly 6 million ounces of gold and became a cornerstone of California's mining legacy. It's a place where the earth's riches translated directly into stories of grit and grandeur. As you walk through the grounds of what is now a state historic park, you encounter the skeletal remains of the mine's once thriving operations. Rusting machinery stands like forgotten sentinels, amid the natural beauty juxtaposition of human achievement and nature's steadfast persistence. These machines, though silent now, murmur echoes of backbreaking labor, ingenuity, and the unyielding drive of those who sought their future in the glimmer of gold. The mine's labyrinthine shafts spread like veins beneath your feet, an intricate network extending deep into the earth. They are now hollow, yet still resonant with the stories of thousands who toiled here, each strike of their picks against stone a testament to determination. In those dark confines, miners faced real dangers: cave-ins, toxic gases, and the ever-present threat of fire casting shadows over their lives and stories. Historians still argue about the true depth of Empire Mine, its fabled reaches rumored to stretch as far as an astounding 11 millisecond underground labyrinth of both ambition and peril. Imaginative tales abound, suggesting the mine held secrets not just of prosperity but of unseen wonders and whispered sacrifices lost to time. As you ramble through the historic grounds, it's easy to picture the steam billowing from the hoist works and listen for phantom whispers carrying tales from miners long gone. The air hums with possible conversations, snatched from beneath the roaring labor, a nod of camaraderie, a sigh of exhaustion, a note of hope. Each path you tread seems to intersect with 1,000 footsteps that once marched toward both dreams fulfilled and hopes dashed. Within the park, the preserved Bourne Cottage stands as a tribute to the mine's success, once home to the mine's key figures. Its charm and elegance offer a stark contrast to the raw ruggedness of the mining operations, capturing the duality of wealth and toil that defined the community. Such juxtaposition allows for a faint smile, imagining those evenings of refinement punctuated by the rugged survival stories discussed over dinner parties. As twilight drapes itself across the landscape, the shadows lengthen, slipping into imperial grandeur not unlike those days where riches cloaked dreams. The stars flicker to life above, and in their glittering presence, you might sense the mine's enduring spirit, a legacy that transcends steel and stone to find a home in the hearts of those who remember. Empire Mine's essence lies not solely in the gold torn from the earth, but in the enduring connection between the land and the people who dared to dream within it. Though the tunnels are now empty, the stories from within those walls still roam free, carried on the wind to those willing to listen. Leaving Empire Mine behind, you carry a sense of completeness, a reverence for the forces that shaped these stories, and the perseverance of the human spirit that faced them head-on. The ground beneath your feet vibrates with a subtle awareness, both of the lives once entwined with the mine's destiny and the quiet watchfulness of time itself. With each step away, you join the cadence of innumerable footsteps treading past, weaving your presence into the tapestry of Empire Mine's expansive history. As the shadows of the pines engulf the path, you feel a connection with those that came before, their whispers lingering, marking the terrain with haunting reminders of ambition's enduring song. Your journey into the spectral pastures of the Wild West leads you to the curious remnants of Belmont, Nevada. Tucked away amid the remote stretches of Nye County, Belmont is a sleepy whisper of its former silver-stained glory days. As you approach, the road unfolds before you like a ribbon of time, carrying you into a landscape where sagebrush and open sky blend seamlessly into the horizon. The air here is clean and crisp, with a hint of mineral tang, a lingering reminder of Belmont's mining pedigree. Back in the mid-1800s, the town sprang to life almost overnight, propelled by the discovery of rich silver ore deposits. For a time, Belmont was a bustling hub, its streets a vibrant tapestry of miners, merchants, and adventurers, all drawn by the shimmering allure of the silver-rich hills. Yet today, you find Belmont populated more by shadows than by people, its once bustling streets now serenely silent. Abandoned buildings stand in solemn rows, their wooden boards weathered by time and the relentless Nevada sun. These structures, with their sagging roofs and faded facades, resemble sleeping sentinels at rest, their secrets buried within layers of dust. One such edifice, set a bit apart from the crumbling township, holds special intrigue: the Mystery House. Local folklore claims it as a place of enigmatic happenings and clandestine endeavors. Peering into its empty windows, you can't help but wonder about the lives that once filled its rooms. Did it harbor hidden treasures, or was its mystery more of a tale spun from idle gossip and imaginative speculation? This house and others like it fuel Belmont's mystique, a town shaped by both historical fact and embellished fiction. Tales of subterranean tunnels connecting clandestine speakeasies are whispered even today, their existence questioned and debated by historians who enjoy saying that truth is sometimes far stranger than fiction. As you explore, your footsteps crunch rhythmically against the packed earth, a solitary sound in a landscape dominated by whispers of wind. Here, the quiet becomes a companion, infusing your thoughts with the rich histories embedded within Belmont's rustic texture. You can almost picture the town in its heyday, alive with laughter and the clatter of horse hooves echoing through the dusty air. Belmont wasn't merely a mining town, it was a community defined by resilience and adaptability. The old courthouse still stands proudly against the sky, its stoic architecture serving as a reminder of the town's significance in its prime years. Here, townsfolk sought justice and governance, wrapped in the redolence of determination and coordination. But it wasn't to last. As quickly as Belmont's fortunes rose, they began to decline. Silver veins were exhausted, the boom years slipping away like shadows at dawn. The once thriving populace migrated to richer prospects, seeking the next vein of dreams to chase, leaving Belmont to slumber in a quiet recollection. Yet even amidst the ruins, Belmont's charm continues to capture the imagination both of its curious visitors and the intrepid few who call it home. The town hosts an occasional visitor festival, inviting people to rediscover its heritage, to walk its storied paths, and perhaps to even glimpse a ghost or two enjoying the revelry. In the fading light of day, the quietude lends Belmont an almost otherworldly quality. You can easily imagine spectral figures, clothed in the dust of memory, threading their way around old timbers and tattered shutters, wistful echoes of a time when hope and ambition held dominion over these lands. As you leave Belmont behind, its haunting allure clings to you, an impression of the town's dual spirit, both indulgent in its storied past and resigned to its tranquil present. It reflects a tale common to many such towns, where both the tangible and the imagined weave seamlessly together into legend. The landscape unfolds wide, with the road stretching ahead like a promise. Under the vast blanket of twilight, you feel a connection to those whose dreams fueled the town's rise and subsequent fall. It's a comforting presence, this continuum of aspiration and memory, an invitation to roam through the echoes of history, to practice the art of listening to whispers, and to carry the stories forward into the ever-striding shadow of the future. Your venture through the ghostly remnants of the Wild West leads you to the stoic mystery of the Ward charcoal ovens, nestled in the high desert landscape near Ely, Nevada. Arriving at this unique site feels like stepping into a surreal intersection of natural beauty and industrial ingenuity. The desert air is sharp and invigorating, filling your lungs with a freshness that invigorates both body and spirit, while the solitude offers a chance for quiet reflection. Dominating the landscape are the beehive-shaped structures of the charcoal ovens, rising against the backdrop of the Shell Creek Range. These impressive stone edifices, initially constructed in the late 1870s, once served a vital function in the resource-hungry mining operations of the time. Standing in their shadow, you feel dwarfed by their architectural simplicity and durability. Each kiln, representing a testament to both human creativity and determination. Imagine the clamor of the past, the air thick with the scent of smoldering timber mixing with sweat and industry. For the miners of the nearby Ward town site, the ovens were crucial, converting wood to charcoal to fuel the smelters extracting precious metals from the earth. In those days, this spot was anything but quiet, alive with the hustle of laborers working in tune with the cycles of fire and flame. The choice of location for these ovens was anything but random. Close proximity to valuable timber resources was essential, and the surrounding hills were rich with pinyon pine and juniper, all sacrificed to the fires that consumed them. Operating these structures was an art form, requiring skill and experience to ensure a ready supply of quality charcoal task, guided by the flicker of infernal light and the tang of wood smoke threading the air. Yet, beyond their practical purpose, the Ward charcoal ovens have been wrapped in myths and legends that intrigue just as much today as in days gone by. Tales abound of the ovens serving as hideouts for notorious outlaws avoiding the long arm of frontier justice. These whispered stories add a playful shadow to their history, blurring the lines between fact and fiction. Historians still debate these accounts, questioning where truth ends and folklore begins, delighted by the wondrous possibilities such places inspire. As you walk around the ovens, your footsteps mingling with the dry rustle of wind-blown sage, it's easy to imagine each oven's interior illuminated by the glow of mighty fires. Inside, voices would have bounced off the stone walls, resonating with hard work and stories as rich as the charcoal crafted within. Today, your voice echoes back to you, combining with the whispers of history carried on the breeze. Despite their industrial beginnings, there's a rugged beauty to these silent beacons, standing sturdy against the test of time. They draw visitors with their bewitching blend of history and artistry, offering a unique glimpse into the synthesis of nature and human endeavor. Ward charcoal ovens stands as a reminder of the transience of certain pursuits. While they outlasted the mining boom that prompted their creation, their practical purpose has long since waned. Nature reclaims what industry left behind, yet the ovens endure, peak-shaped monoliths in a sea of scrub and wild grasses. Watching the sun dip toward the horizon, casting long shadows that stretch like reaching fingers across the desert floor, Ward charcoal ovens invites contemplation. The oven's understated elegance encourages you to ponder the convergence of industry and nature, the fleeting rush of enterprise paired with the lasting impact left upon the land. As you prepare to depart, the evening embraces the site in a golden glow, the ovens silhouetted against the vastness of Nevada's skies. Their whispering history becomes a gentle reminder that ingenuity and resourcefulness are timeless, intrinsic parts of the human spirit, and that each story, whether factual or fantastical, is woven into the rich tapestry of what was once the thriving, cacophonous Wild West. With a nod to both the practical and the paradoxical, you leave Ward charcoal ovens behind, carrying its stories forward, a lasting imprint echoing from the high desert through time. As you journey onward, remember that such places hold the magic of myriad tales told and untold, a promise that history, like the ember's glow, may lie dormant, but never extinguished. Stepping away from the rugged charm of the Ward charcoal ovens, your path leads to the peculiar and strangely alluring lands of Darwin, California. Tucked within the arid embrace of the Mojave Desert, Darwin offers a landscape that feels otherworldly, a blend of wild desolation and uncanny beauty. Its isolated vistas are a canvas of muted tones, punctuated by the striking profiles of abandoned mining structures silhouetted against endless blue skies. The wind here is constant, a low whisper weaving through the scruffy vegetation and carrying with it the faint scent of desert blooms mingling with the minerality of sun-baked earth. As you enter Darwin, a lingering heat clings to your skin, infusing your senses with the warmth of a desert afternoon. Each element seems carefully crafted by time, creating a place that feels like an artistic collaboration between nature and human endeavor. Founded during the silver boom of the late 19th century, Darwin bloomed briefly, its population swelling with prospectors, merchants, and variously adventurous souls. The anticipation of riches woven into every fiber of the town's foundation was palpable, a magnetic lure for those seeking fortune amidst the mountainous expanse. Yet beyond its historical allure, Darwin possesses a unique aura, one that transcends the ordinary narratives of ghost towns. There's a Lovecraftian charm here, an unshakable feeling that something not entirely of this world resides just beyond the horizon. Historians still debate whether this atmospheric allure results from Darwin's remote geography or something deeper, a whisper of the otherworldly exhaled through its ancient rock formations. Walking among the relics, you encounter the tangible remains of a life once bustling wooden beams and corroded metal that seem to resonate with the echo of past endeavors. These weathered structures, shaped by both human hands and time's erosion, gaze out over the desert with an obstinate dignity, each one a silent storyteller recounting tales of perseverance. There's a playful paradox here, too. For all its ghostly quiet, Darwin has never truly died. Its population remains small but tenaciously persistent, defying the isolation with a creative spirit that breathes life into its dwindling corridors. Artists, dreamers, and those seeking solitude have found inspiration amidst the stark beauty, transforming ruins into canvases and lifeless facades into homes cocooned in art and eccentricity. The uniqueness of Darwin piques the imagination, encouraging a vision of spectral adventurers seated around a campfire, spinning yarns of discovery and depicting creatures that might lurk amid starlight shadows. A chuckle escapes you as you fancy the idea. Did those early miners, tucked away beneath the desert sky, tell tales to rival ancient myth tales that might have spawned rumors of otherworldly presences in the remote canyons? As the sun begins its leisurely descent, the golden light casts a surreal glow over the landscape, painting everything with a sepia brush. Beneath this wondrous illumination, each abandoned structure becomes a monument to resilience and adaptation amidst adversity. The shadows lengthen, weaving new patterns across the terrain, comforting in their steadfast familiarity. Darwin remains a testament to the rugged individualism that typifies many Western towns, a declaration that even in apparent demise, life finds new ways to blossom. Its lasting allure is not reliant solely on historical significance or economic output, but rather on its ability to transform adversity into artistic expression. As you prepare to leave this enchanting place, the first stars twinkle into view, filling the vast sky with pinpricks of light. Darwin feels alive, wrapped in its spectral elegance, a nexus where past dreams blend seamlessly with present creativity. Its winding paths invite reflection, consideration of the uncertainty that accompanies ambition, and admiration for those who dare to explore the thin line between reality and imagination. So, step away from Darwin with reverence for its captivating allure, a place where whispers on the wind hint at stories larger than life, etched deeply into the desert's canvas. In every echo, there's a reminder that history, much like art, is subjective, waiting for those curious enough to write the next chapter in the chronicles of this beguiling desert town. Making your way further into the history-steeped pathways of the West, you arrive at the intriguing Mazurka Canyon in California. Nestled within the eastern Sierra Nevada, this area presents a landscape that offers both rugged splendor and the intimate whispers of its storied past. The canyon stretches out beneath a broad sky, where the interplay of light and shadow conjures images of travelers from long ago. Mazurka Canyon breathes with a solitude that feels alive, as if every breeze trailing through the washes carries secrets of those who traversed these arid paths. The air here is infused with the scent of wild sage and the faint mineral tang of shifting sands, a reminder of the canyon's enduring connection to both earth and memory. Within this remote stretch, Italian immigrants found a space to carve out their own narratives, drawn here during the late 19th and early 20th centuries by the promise of opportunity. Their influence is woven into the very fabric of the area, shaping the character of Mazurka Canyon in ways both visible and subtle. These settlers brought with them not just mining expertise, but a vibrant cultural imprint that left a legacy etched into the land's rugged face. Their influence unfolds before you, particularly in the remnants of homesteads and mining sites that dot the canyon. Here, you can see evidence of the old world meeting the new, as structures once alive with the sounds of work and family now stand as solemn monuments to dreams pursued amid the stark beauty of the desert. Walking paths worn by time, you can nearly trace the lines of life that ran through the canyon stone ovens, hand-hewn and long-cooled, mirror the culinary traditions imported from across the Atlantic. Historians often muse over these unique features, pondering how much of that rich culinary heritage mingled with local flavors, to craft a fusion as diverse and distinct as the landscape itself. It's not difficult to imagine these hard-working settlers, gathered under the stars after a long day's labor, recounting tales of the homelands they left behind, stories laced with laughter and homesickness, perhaps softened by the camaraderie of community so far from familiar comforts. The canyon's natural amphitheater would have been an accomplice to such gatherings, cradling their voices and earthen songs as they drifted upward to the quiet stars. Mazurka Canyon is cloaked in a gentle quietude, yet beneath its placid veneer lies a quirky inspiration. You might imagine the ghosts of Italian miners exchanging stories with their contemporary counterparts, those who wander the canyon today, inspired by its stark beauty and the enduring challenge of deciphering the remnants of a close-knit community built amid isolation. As afternoon gives way to evening, the sun paints its final strokes across the canyon walls, illuminating the rocks in vibrant hues of russet and gold. There's an almost magical transition that occurs as day slips into dusk, where shadows deepen and the canyon's mysteries gain an added allure. With a smile, you think of those pioneering families, perhaps pausing for a dance beneath the moonlit expanse waltz of celebration, even amid adversity. This place, etched by the past but still resplendent in quiet charm, resonates with the blend of cultures and aspirations that once converged here. As you depart Mazurka Canyon, the twilight wraps the landscape in a cloak of deepening tones, stars emerging as guides to the next chapter. The canyon remains behind in its tranquil stoicism, a testament to the enduring human spirit and the tenacity of those who called it home. In every rock and hollow, Mazurka holds on to its layered stories, waiting patiently for future generations to unearth, replay, and cherish them anew. And as you venture forth, enriched by the impressions of its shared legacy, the sound of ancient echoes follows a reminder that history here is a living thing, shaped by each footfall and whisper, carried forward into tomorrow as a vibrant tapestry of memory and discovery. As your journey continues through the tapestry of ghostly markers left behind by time, you find yourself at the storied site of Gold Hill, Nevada. This place, like its sister Virginia City, is steeped in legend and legacy, entwined with the annals of the Comstock Loditha motherlode that rewrote fortunes and spun countless tales of ambition, success, and sorrow in the wide expanses of the Nevada desert. Gold Hill's landscape is shaped by the contours of human dreams as much as by nature, with the remaining echoes of bustling activity now settled beneath silence and wind. The air here carries a crisp edge, enriched with the earthy scent of sagebrush, cutting through the serene quiet like whispers spun on the breeze, weaving through the skeletal remains of an empire once rich with promise. In the mid-19th century, Gold Hill emerged rapidly alongside Virginia City, fueled by the discovery of the Comstock lode, whose veins of silver and gold lay tangled beneath the arid mountains. Set against the barren backdrop of the desert, the town swiftly became a nexus of enterprise, where fortune seekers, merchants, and miners injected their ambitions into every beam and brick of this burgeoning community. Wandering through what's left, you find the remnants of substantial structures, their weathered facades, echoing with memories of prosperity and the daily rhythm of life when trains crisscrossed the landscape, their whistles punctuating the air and adding tempo to the heartbeat of Gold Hill. One of the most enduring landmarks is the Yellow Jacket Mine, a place where both riches and tragedy are inseparable from the lore. Above ground, the remains stand defiantly against the eroding forces of time, yet it's the tales beneath the surface that weave the most enigmatic narratives. The site of a disastrous mining fire in 1869, the mines still hold on to their secrets, the echoes of calamity haunting the deep shafts and tunnels. Historians still argue whether it was a mere accident or if it could have been prevented, a conversation punctuated by the faint memory of lost lives and the enduring specter of human fallibility. This haunting narrative lends Gold Hill a quiet gravity, reminding you of the precarious dance between endeavor and uncertainty that characterized its past. Beyond the stains of tragedy, Gold Hill brims with stories that speak to the triumphs shared by its inhabitants, tales of community solidarity, of resilience found within its clustered buildings and winding paths. The resourceful population rallied to shape lives that thrived amidst the challenges presented by the unforgiving environment, finding both success and solace in their shared pursuits. There's a lighthearted charm, too, hinted at in the whimsical remnants of personal projects left by those who called this place home, the touches of humor in mining camp antics, or the creative ingenuity displayed in their resilient adaptations to life's curveballs. As the sun dips behind the rugged hills, their edges sharply accentuated by the dying light, the shadows merge with Gold Hill's storied past. You envision the spectral figures of miners and townspeople gathering at twilight, their spectral forms a swirl of laughter and shared stories, as eternal as the stars watching from above. While Gold Hill fell from its towering height along with the waning Comstock lode, it remains a symbol of determination amid the ever-changing tides of wealth and ambition. Generations of explorers and curious souls have continued to walk its paths, drawn by the pull of stories, yet to be fully told, a testament to the resilient spirit living in every rock and whisper of wind. As you leave Gold Hill behind, its shadowed silhouettes interwoven with the deepening sky, the town's legacy settles in your thoughts, a tapestry of history, written in the language of hope and heartache. The legacy of Gold Hill remains palpable, etched into Nevada's landscape, echoing with the persistent breathing of its past, waiting for each new visitor to come and add their voice to the endless chorus of its enduring saga. In each footfall, marking your departure, a gentle symphony of whispers lingers, wrapping around you like a comforting echo, guiding you onward through the multifaceted wonders of Nevada's ghostly history, a past traced indelibly beside each new chapter of discovery. Continuing your odyssey through the haunting landscapes of the West, you find yourself wandering through the shadows and whispers of Carson City, Nevada. Though not a ghost town in the traditional sense, this storied capital harbors its share of forgotten corners and ephemeral spirits, remnants of a dynamic past that still emerges in unexpected places. Nestled against the foothills of the Sierra Nevada, Carson City is a place where history's presence is subtle yet profound. The air here carries a cool crispness, invigorated by the scent of pine drifting down from the mountains, mingling with the distant echoes of a place that harmonizes the vigor of its legislative heart with the poignant quietude of bygone eras. Carson City thrived as a bastion of commerce and governance, its prominence tied inextricably to the wealth of the Comstock lode and the broader tapestry of the region's mining ventures. As you wander through quieter streets and alleys veined with the passage of time, the architectural memories of those booming years are evident in the charming, weathered facades and ornate edifices that tell tales of aspiration and adaptability crafted within their walls. Pausing before the elegant outlines of the Nevada State Capitol, it's easy to imagine the bustling activity of lawmakers and the earnest debates that once filled its halls, echoes of purpose that linger even now. Yet, beyond this polished veneer, Carson City's quieter nooks conceal stories untold, forgotten specters hidden in the folds of history. Walk the pathways of the city's parks, and you might catch the lingering patterns of history etched into hidden corners. The spirit of this place is as much in the whispers of rustling leaves as it is in the grand tales propagated by its more famous landmarks. It is an intricately woven narrative, where each leaf might hold a jubilation or a forgotten sigh. Among the city's lesser-known realms is the Stewart Indian School, a place that stands as a somber testament to a complicated chapter in American history. Here, generations of Native American children were brought for assimilation and education. Today, you can wander its grounds, feeling the echoes of youthful voices long since transitioned from lively halls to history textbooks. Historians still debate the balance between intentions and outcomes of such institutions, each brick a witness to the resilience and strength of young lives once lived there. While the shadows of the past blanket parts of Carson City, the town vibrates with a pulse of creativity that weaves past and present into a cohesive tapestry. Artists and craftsmen cherish this blend, drawing inspiration from its storied backdrop while pushing forward into new realms of expression. There's a spirit of playful paradox here, where traditional Western tales mingle with modern perspectives to create something wholly unique. As the evening draws near, the city's lights flicker to life, dancing along streets and casting a warm glow over everything they touch. Carson City becomes a living reflection, where history's echo and the present thrumming coalesce, inviting you into a space that's equal parts mystery and revelation. With a nod to the mischievous spirits that might lurk behind stately facades or beneath the strands of Spanish moss, you humor the thought of a ghostly lawmaker playfully adjusting forgotten statutes under the moonlit sky, a wry nod to both tradition and change. As you leave Carson City and its nuanced stories behind, the city remains an enduring reminder of the resilience and adaptability inherent in places with such rich histories. Each footstep sketches the ongoing dialogue between the past and the present, between innovation and tradition. This journey enriches you with not just the knowledge of places visited, but of the intricate weave of societal fabric they represent, a blend of shadow and light passed from one generation to the next. Carson City stands as an emblem not just of governance, but of the human spirit's capacity to reflect, grow, and create amidst the enduring whispers of history, a place where every winding street and lofty parapet holds a unique key to the many stories that make us who we are. As your journey through the ghostly chapters of the West draws near its culmination, you find yourself approaching the serene yet subtly powerful landscape of Ruby Hill, Nevada. Nestled within the heart of Eureka County, Ruby Hill stands as a testament to the vibrant life of mining and the quieter echoes of its enduring legacy. Here, in this expansive terrain, the wind is a constant companion, moving gently through the valleys and carrying with it the scent of the desert brush and distant pine. The air has a subtle bite, invigorating yet tempered by the warmth of the sun that casts long golden beams across the rugged landscape, tracing paths once trodden by prospectors long ago. Ruby Hill, with its softly rolling contours, was once a bustling mining hub, a microcosm of the hope and resilience that imbued the western frontier. While perhaps less renowned than its neighboring settlements, Ruby Hill bore its own significance as an outpost for those seeking fortune deep within its cavernous bowels. Its history is one of booming prospects and quiet retreats, a dance marked by the rhythmic thud of pickaxes and the silent mark of decline. Walking through the remains scattered across the landscape, you feel the weight of history beneath your feet. Crumbling structures, oxidized machinery. Each relic tells a tale of the relentless pursuit of wealth and the tenacity required to thrive in such remote locales. Between the metal and stone, nature has woven her own narrative, with tendrils of greenery reclaiming what once buzzed with human activity. Amidst this harmonious blending of man and nature, the story of Ruby Hill unfolds more as a whispered conversation than a shouted proclamation. The community that once called this place home was tight-knit, formed under the challenging yet unifying mantle of shared endeavor and necessity. Here, lives interwove deeply with the land, creating a tapestry defined not only by riches extracted but by a shared resilience that continues to echo softly through time. While the mining camps have long since been abandoned, historians still debate the finer points of Ruby Hill's operations. Questions surface about extraction techniques, the ingenuity of its engineers, and the personal stories of those who populated its landscape with hope in their hearts. A whimsical notion tickles your imagination as you wander a ghostly gathering of miners discussing plans under the canopy of starlight, as if the spectral shadows are intent on improving the rich deposits of the past. The idea conjures images of spectral consultants assembling to pore over data sheets, offering ethereal nods to the spirit of ingenuity that thrived here. As the golden hour settles over the California mountains, Ruby Hill adopts a soft glow that seems to accentuate its graceful contours, turning even the most forgotten relics into radiant artifacts of beauty. The shadows lengthen, drawing the past into the embrace of evening, where the tales of these hills find solace under the mantle of vast skies. In this place of quiet recollection, the spirit of Ruby Hill is not lost to time, but remains vibrantly connected to the earth and sky. It speaks to you in the language of endurance, whispering of communities forged in adversity and prosperity alike, echoing with the laughter, the toils, and the dreams of those who settled here seeking their fortunes. As you turn to leave, the desert quiet dawns upon you, settling with a peaceful completeness. The story of Ruby Hill lingers, a testament to places where human aspiration meets the land's indomitable power, both shaping and shaped by the legacy left behind. Walking away from Ruby Hill, the quiet shadows at your back, you embrace the lessons of patience and understanding whispered by the winds that know these stories so well. With a heart woven into the tapestry of these ghostly stories, you move toward the next chapter, carrying forward the spirits of resilience, community ties, and the enduring hope of new horizons. Remember, within the hushed confines of such timeless places, echoes thrive for those willing to pause, to listen, and to become part of an unending cycle whispers shared and renewed, each entwined with the journey that lies ahead. As your journey through the atmospheric vestiges of the Wild West concludes, you find yourself drawn to one final gathering place, fireside reflection at a ghostly camp nestled under a sprawling, star-studded sky. Here, among the shadows and silhouettes cast by flickering firelight, the echoes of the ghost towns you visited coalesce into a tapestry of stories that cradle you in their gentle embrace. The air around you is cool and refreshing, tinged with the smoky warmth of the campfire, its gentle crackle a comforting auditory backdrop as you reflect on the stories that have whispered to you throughout your travels. Each ghost town, with its unique spirit and narrative, comes alive in your memory, weaving together tales of hope, ambition, and endurance amid the beautiful harshness of the untamed West. As you sit by the fire, the imagery of each place you visited sways gently in your mind's eye. The moonlit streets of Tombstone, the ghostly lights of Bodie, the vibrant murals of Chloride, and the enduring ovens of Ward. The nighttime chorus of desert calls serenades your thoughts, a reminder of nature's eternal symphony that plays on, indifferent yet profoundly intertwined with the human lives that once thrived in these forsaken domains. Here in this captivating stillness, time slows, inviting you to contemplate the deeper themes exposed during your journey, the resilience of spirit, the ephemeral nature of dreams, and the vast tapestry of stories that persist regardless of time's relentless march. These ghost towns, once animated by bustling life and fervent dreams, now rest in a tranquil slumber, guardians of histories that continue to speak to the adventurous souls who seek to hear them. In the fire's glow, you imagine the spectral inhabitants of these abandoned places gathering nearby, their shadows mingling with the flickering light, whispering their stories alongside yours. Gentle laughter, lively discussions, tales of triumph, and lessons learned blend into a chorus that bridges past and present, enfolding you in a warm, communal embrace. As the fire dies down, casting long shadows into the cool desert night, an overwhelming sense of calm envelops you. The treasures you've unearthed in these ghost towns are far richer than any mineral stories that resonate with the eternal themes of hope, ambition, and connection, still dancing through the shadowed corners of history. In this quiet, introspective moment, you hold fast to the knowledge that the essence of these places, these stories, lives on in you and all who seek their echoes. Just as this campfire will become embers, eventually surrendering to the night, so too do the stories dim and rekindle, endlessly reshaped by each new telling, each new traveler who steps into their paths. As you rise and take your leave, carrying the warmth of the fire's memory and the stories it has kindled, you hold on to the idea that the journey is not unlike life itself. Collection of moments, experiences, and stories that merge into a greater whole. And just as these ghost towns endure in their quiet majesty, so does their legacy continue to inspire those who wander and wonder. With a peaceful sigh and a heart full of reflection, you turn to face the future. The tale of your journey concludes not with an ending, but with the soft promise of new beginnings, whispered by the gentle winds that sweep across these timeless lands of promise, as eternal as the stars overhead. Sweet dreams,